Aldous Huxley was an English writer and philosopher. His bibliography spans nearly 50 books, including novels and non-fiction works, as well as essays, narratives, and poems. Man approaches the unattainable truth through a succession of errors. All that happens means something. Nothing you do is ever insignificant. Words form the thread on which we string our experiences. There isn't any formula or method. You learn to love by loving, by paying attention and doing what one thereby discovers has to be done. Feasts must be solemn and rare, or else they cease to be feasts. Proverbs are always platitudes until you have personally experienced the truth of them. There are things known and there are things unknown, and in between are the doors of perception. There's only one corner of the universe you can be certain of improving, and that's your own self. Facts do not cease to exist because they are ignored. Consciousness is only possible through change. Change is only possible through movement. We are not our own any more than what we possess is our own. We did not make ourselves. We cannot be supreme over ourselves. We are not our own masters. A man may be a pessimistic determinist before lunch and an optimistic believer in the will's freedom after it. Writers write to influence their readers, their preachers, their auditors, but always at bottom, to be more themselves. Most men and women will grow up to love their servitude and will never dream of revolution. I want to know what passion is. I want to feel something strongly. We shall be permitted to live on this planet only for as long as we treat all nature with compassion and intelligence. I'm afraid of losing my obscurity. Genuineness only thrives in the dark, like celery. We don't want to change. Every change is a menace to stability. I know the outer world as well as you do, and I judge it. You know nothing of my inner world, and yet you presume to judge that world. It's a little embarrassing that after 45 years of research and study, the best advice I can give people is to be a little kinder to each other. I wanted to change the world, but I have found that the only thing one can be sure of changing is oneself. The secret of genius is to carry the spirit of the child into old age, which means never losing your enthusiasm. The most valuable of all education is the ability to make yourself do the thing you have to do when it has to be done, whether you like it or not. Orthodoxy is the die-hard of the world of thought. It learns not, neither can it forget. A bad book is as much of a labor to write as a good one. It comes as sincerely from the author's soul. We are all geniuses up to the age of 10. Habit converts luxurious enjoyments into dull and daily necessities. We participate in a tragedy. At a comedy, we only look. Those who meant well behaved in the same way as those who meant badly. After silence, that which comes nearest to expressing the inexpressible is music. Every man's memory is his private literature. Happiness is not achieved by the conscious pursuit of happiness. It is generally the byproduct of other activities. Thought must be divided against itself before it can come to any knowledge of itself. Defined in psychological terms, a fanatic is a man who consciously overcompensates a secret doubt. What is absurd and monstrous about war is that men who have no personal quarrel should be trained to murder one another in cold blood. The impulse to cruelty is, in many people, almost as violent as the impulse to sexual love, almost as violent and much more mischievous. Children are remarkable for their intelligence and ardor, for their curiosity, their intolerance of shams, the clarity and ruthlessness of their vision. The most distressing thing that can happen to a prophet is to be proved wrong. The next most distressing thing is to be proved right. The quality of moral behavior varies in inverse ratio to the number of human beings involved. That we are not much sicker and much madder than we are is due exclusively to that most blessed and blessing of all natural graces, sleep. Each person is at each moment capable of remembering all that has ever happened to him and of perceiving everything that is happening everywhere in the universe. Beauty is worse than wine. It intoxicates both the holder and beholder. Science has explained nothing. The more we know, the more fantastic the world becomes, and the profounder the surrounding darkness. To his dog, every man is Napoleon, hence the constant popularity of dogs. It's with bad sentiments that one makes good novels. Official dignity tends to increase in inverse ratio to the importance of the country in which the office is held. So long as men worship the Caesars and Napoleons will duly arise and make them miserable. Everyone who wants to do good to the human race always ends in universal bullying. Cynical realism is the intelligent man's best excuse for doing nothing in an intolerable situation. We cannot reason ourselves out of our basic irrationality. All we can do is learn the art of being irrational in a reasonable way.